A bad ending can completely change my opinion on an otherwise great series. That could be a movie, anime, whatever it might be. A bad ending will change the opinion. Jeez. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Three, two, one.
Disagree.
Neutral.
I said agree.
Wow. So Joe said agree. Can't said neutral. I said disagree.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones.
Okay.
I know this has to be brought up because it is universally regarded as a fucking awful ending, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a TV show that has a public sentiment as agreed upon that it's a bad ending. But I still really enjoyed Game of Thrones, and I had a good time watching it, and it did not at all sour my feelings on Game of Thrones. I still think about it very positively.
Yeah.
And I had a good time.
All right.
And as someone who
It's a journey.
as someone who has the hottest take on the Game of Thrones,
Not hottest, most dog shit. let's call it what it is, guys. Let's not pretend.
Incorrect.
Let's not call it a hot take. A hot take is valid.
yeah. Well, I as you said, you have no enemies, so I'm gonna fucking.
I have an enemy when you say that. I had one enemy.
I'm gonna limit test that right now.
I have one enemy.
But I really hate the this argument take when it's this is gonna make me sound even worse. I think Game of Thrones is the wrong example to give for this argument.
Okay.
Because as someone who had the take on Game of Thrones that they did, I can.
What was it, God? Remind the viewers what your take was. In case they forgot.
I liked the latter half of Game of Thrones.
More than the first half, you said.
Yeah, because of my monkey brain.
I've not seen a
as a
single
critic.
episode, so
As
I
a
can't
critic,
say.
I know
Okay,
like the first half is
you can't say
better, and that doesn't include season 8. Season 8 is absolute dog shit.
Okay. Now we're adding caveats.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. So,
Yeah,
Game of
but,
Thrones is a bad example.
The reason I think it's a bad example is because the fall of Game of Thrones wasn't just the ending. The writing was on the wall.
I agree, yeah.
Way before
It was season
the
5
ending.
onwards.
Yeah, it was like to say that a bad ending ruins a show and using Game of Thrones as an example. Well, that isn't just the ending. That is the entire lead up to
I
the
think
ending.
that makes my point even more for disagree, because I was like, I watched half of a mid-season
Mm-hmm.
show and I still enjoyed it because the first half was so fun.
But were you watching that because it was an obligation because you'd already gotten through
No, I was
so much of it?
genuinely
or
excited for it
Okay.
every week. Like even if I knew it was falling in quality, I was like, don't you put that down, tiny slime.
Yeah.
Even though I knew it was falling in quality, I think I was so invested in the world and the characters that any amount of garbage would have been honestly welcome because I was just so into it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's why The Hobbit is kind of palatable.
And I was thinking,
I just like the world of. I don't really like the movie, but I like the world a lot.
Right.
And I'm invested.
Right.
and like the more I think about it, the more I'm just like all of these bad endings that are, I guess, famous. How many examples are there where the writing wasn't on the wall to the lead up to the ending? Because I'm trying to. What can you search up like worst endings in anime? Because I'm trying to remember.
Evangelion.
See, I don't think.
I don't think
nobody
Eva
took the bait.
Evangelion.
No.
Nobody took the bait. Sorry, I just wanted to try.
Yeah. Princess Tutu, Death Note.
I see. Death Note is such a cop out of an answer.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was like
It was the entire like after Elle died.
Yeah.
Because I think another thing is that it heavily relies.
How was Berserk on there?
There's no ending.
Because the
Scroll
original anime ended around like a cliffhanger.
Okay, Dead Man
Dead Man
Wonderland, I was going to
Wonderland.
say, yeah. Tenjo Tenga is probably on here as well.
Yeah. No Game No Life had a bad ending. Promised Neverland.
That just had a bad season 2.
These like
Yeah.
never. These are shows that just didn't end.
Wonder Egg.
okay. Promise like that I would agree with.
Well, yeah, but Wonder Egg fell off after like episode 3.
Okay, scroll down.
I mean,
Archime,
yeah,
School Days.
What? That's the only
Hard
good thing about it.
disagree.
That's the
Hard
only good
disagree.
thing about it.
This is like a rage bait list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is genuinely like useless.
Okay, so I am going to, because we have these like anime series up, right? Like, for example, I, for one, like when I think of
Gurren Lagann is crazy, by the way.
That's a
what
crazy
the fuck is
take.
this? That's crazy.
Gintama, it was also fine.
All right,
Erased,
Erased,
yeah, okay,
yeah.
I agree with.
Evangelion number 2.
Yeah.
Claymore, I
But
guess.
the Claymore manga ending is fine. It's
Yeah,
an anime.
it's just the
Yeah,
anime.
it's the anime only.
Yeah.
Like, oh, go for it, Joe.
No. Okay, so the reason why I said agree, right, is because I forgot who said it, but I very much agree with this kind of perspective on it, right? Like, It's this whole idea of like if you're watching, say, a gymnast do like a gym routine, right? They do the run up, they do the flips, they do the spirals, and then if they land flat on their face at the end of it all, you're not going to be like, yeah, but that backflip was sick. You're going to be like, well, fuck, they just fucked up. The entire thing is ruined.
I'm not that harsh of a critic. I'm like, that's...
Well, yeah, but that's the problem. Is like, you personally may not feel that way, but a lot of people do. Like, a lot of people say the reason why, for example, a lot of people hated the fuck out of Dead Man Wonderland was not because the entire series was shit. If anything, the majority of the series was actually decent, in my opinion, but the ending was just fucking horrible. And so most people, or same with like Erased. Not every episode of Erased was horrendous. There were a lot of like some... especially midway through the season of Erased, like there were some really great emotional episodes, but it's just the ending was so on the wall that people were like, whatever. Whole thing. When you talk about Erased, everyone's like, yeah, but the ending was shit. That's usually the first piece of criticism that you ever hear about any of these kinds of shows. And I think like, yeah, the ending of a show isn't everything, but it is the one, in my opinion, pivotal moment where it should tie everything up that you experienced up until that point. And if they don't tie it up, or if it's not at a satisfactory point that made it so that that whole journey was worth it, then in the end of it, you're going to remember only the worst part about it. Conversely speaking, it's the reason why a lot of people rate Code Geass so highly, right? Yeah, the entire show was amazing, but the whole thing was nicely wrapped up and neatly packaged in an amazing ending. And that's what most people remember about Code Geass, right?
Yeah.
That's my argument. So that's why I said agree. It's not a strongly agree because it's not everything, obviously, but in the case with like anime or long-running TV series, it's a pretty big unavoidable part.
Yeah, and I think I've just seen more and more when an anime has ended, it just has become popular to just like dogpile on this ending.
Right.
And the more I experience it, the rarer it gets that I actually agree that there is a bad ending to something. I think most recently was My Hero Academia, got clowned on to no end, and I'm like, this is a fine ending. It's not the greatest ending, but it does everything it needs to do. Attack on Titan as well, another ending where people are like, this ruined the entire fucking show for me, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I think there's also an aspect of people that are just sad it's over.
Yes.
And they lash out.
Yeah.
Because they're young and they don't know where to put that energy in.
Yeah.
They say the ending's bad.
And I think that my opinion over time has changed about the ending, just because I was thinking about it, because I was like, if the ending is the paramount thing to kind of like determine my overall opinion on a show, then surely that means if a show hasn't ended, if a series hasn't ended, then I can't be able to judge it. And then I think of examples like Berserk, where I'm like, nah, even if Berserk had a dog shit ending, hypothetically, we would never know. We would never know, hypothetically. But even if it did, I was like, it wouldn't have ruined what it did for me. Because I don't think the gymnast analogy is totally correct, because I think some of these are more akin to a marathon than one like very quick sequence. It's an entire marathon, and maybe there are parts where it runs a bit slower, runs a bit faster. Maybe they trip up at the end, but they were on that fucking world record run for a lot of it.
That's
and
fair.
You got to respect that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Damn.
All right.
That's deep. All right.
That's deep.
Who's going to pick the next one? Go ahead.
Social media algorithms decide what we care about more than we think.
No. Sorry, I write it down.
What was the prompt again? Sorry.
Social media algorithms.
Do social media algorithms decide what we care about more than we think? All right. 3, 2, 1.
I put stonk disagree.
I put disagree.
I would agree.
I know you did.
I don't know about you, Gaunt. I don't let these fucking clankers decide what I want to like.
That's good for you, Joe.
Okay.
That's good for you.
So I guess
I have free will.
I was very quick to voice my thoughts.
Go on.
Yeah.
I mean, you feed the info in, right, that it gets. So it knows what you're looking for, and it knows what you're engaging with. And so if you spend 0.3 seconds longer looking at this one video of this one thing, or you looked at this post from this one person, or you're searching this account, it's like you are putting the data in that is allowing it to make decisions for you. Yes, it can suggest things, but ultimately it's your engagement with it that decides what will be then fed to you. So in some senses, I do think, yeah, it is kind of deciding because it can show you a bunch of things and then it's up to you what you engage with. But ultimately, it's your choice to either watch that video for longer or leave that comment or look at this thing that is giving the computer all the information that it needs to then know more about you and perhaps know you even better than yourself, and then feed you something that you don't know you're going to like. But again, I think it's all from information that you've been willingly handing over.
Yeah, but like,
this sounds more dystopian and cool if we say it's all the computer stuff.
I'm just a bot, man. I'm a bot. I'm that guy.
The only thing that I think it does very well without like a say as a user is that like being a consumer is like you are pushed to buy. Like that is the one thing that it constantly does is ads. So like in terms of like the actual content creators you're watching or whatever it is or whoever you're normally going to be fed stuff that you're kind of aligned with and your humor is or whatever it is you're looking for, you know? But in terms of sometimes I do feel like a trend that gets popular, for example, is perpetuated because the thing can be sold. Like I think I have this weird theory that I feel like any kind of hobby that has like a ton of like buying aspects things to it where either like TikTok shop can sell you things or YouTube shop can sell, it gets pushed more because there's more money changing hands with the platform. So I feel like we are constantly being fed hobbies that are more materialistic or require more purchases or more expensive purchases than before. That we would just kind of get a range of things. I do think in one aspect it's you. In another aspect, we are being pushed towards hobbies that are often about buying things like trading cards. Like I think that's so much algorithm involved in pushing trading cards, buy trading cards. You need to buy these things. You buy these things to be a part of this hobby. Like that kind of stuff I think is being pushed on us.
Okay. Make a great argument, but I'm going to make a counter. I'm going to make a counter.
That's trash tape.
I wasn't even going to argue against this. And then I was like,
hold up.
Because all I was going to talk about actually initially was, I've watched way too many fucking movies because of one fucking short that got recommended to me. But
yeah, wait, Ludwig did this to me on that. He was like, let's watch Training Day. I was like, why? He's like, I saw like 2 TikToks. It was fire. I was like, what is wrong with you?
I am
Your
that
problem.
I guess it's the modern day trailer. That's what it is now. It's, you know what I mean? It's the TikTok sleuth trailer.
Do you know what I watched the other day? Doctor Strangelove.
Okay.
I would not have gone out of my way to watch
TikTok?
Doctor Strangelove. Not a TikTok, a YouTube short. Actually.
Okay. Oh, sorry. The pinky's out.
Which I'll talk about another time because fantastic fucking movie. But I think to counter the argument that you made, yes, you do have free will, and yes, you do enact that free will. The problem with algorithms is that sometimes you can unwittingly or unwillingly fall into a rabbit hole by accident.
No, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And you, by that metric, you are sometimes exposed to stuff that you might not even want to be exposed to. But sometimes what algorithms are awful at is stopping you from
going too deep, or like, you know, there are
definitely some like genres in the algorithm world where it's like morbid curiosity. And you go down a rabbit hole you would never have gone down before.
I mean,
if not for like morbid curiosity. And that, I think, is like a dangerous game sometimes.
Yeah, like the true crime stuff. Certainly, you watch some videos and you're like, oh, this video seems interesting. And then the video is like weirdly super graphic and like shows images that they probably shouldn't be showing on YouTube and stuff like this. And you're like, I feel like I'm, like you said, I'm being pushed.
This is too far.
But I think it's also frustrating because the aspect of it all being user generated and users tend to create things that they are either one is trendy for whatever reason, or two is monetarily beneficial. So it feels like the money is always the one, the flow. It's like I might not give a fuck about Pokemon cards, but if people keep fucking making them because everyone's trying to make a quick buck off them for whatever reason. I'm just being exposed to more. Stuff like that. But I actually
so
I
it's
agree.
a higher likelihood to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I agree. I think like people getting kind of going and learning about like extremist beliefs.
Yeah.
I think that's like a prime example of, I think we all know a person in our life that probably would never have done that normally had there not been a literal like multi-trillion-dollar system in place that pushes them towards this.
Yeah.
And I think there's definitely an argument that's like, hey, you should be able to have some self-control here and some self-awareness. But unfortunately, we clearly live in a world where that's not the case. And I think getting annoyed at the individual for a systematic problem is unhelpful and is not going to change anything.
Yeah,
so I do think there's there's some right there.
Yeah. Obviously, it's not every single individual. Like some individuals are aware enough of themselves to be like, oh, okay, I am being fed this stuff, but maybe I should rethink. Yeah, but obviously like that's not everyone. Yeah,
and it's like,
unfortunately,
yes, you do have free will, but yes, we are also very monkey brain, and our programming is sometimes just flawed in our brain. That doesn't lead to what is healthiest for us mentally all the times.
But I think YouTube, it's peaked and it's going down now.
You reckon?
Yeah, because dude, every single science informational video now that isn't like from, I would say like the 10 channels that you probably all know, is literally AI voiceover or like AI script writing, and it's like it's genuinely impossible to find a channel that is new, that is good, or like even the kind of trend of like, I don't mind hiring like a narrator or whatever, but it does feel like we lose a little bit of like what made YouTube so special a little bit. And I just feel like it's getting harder and harder to find newer channels that are making really interesting and creative things. Because YouTube, if you watch like a Veritasium video or whatever, you're like, oh, science is kind of cool, isn't it? And the next 10 videos will be like, here's the top 10 Nobel Prize winners that did this. You're like, okay, that sounds interesting. Or top 10 Nobel Prize you didn't expect. I don't know what these videos are. I've never watched this video like this. But then you just start watching it and you're like, fuck me, it's an AI voiceover and it's like AI generated things. It's like, we are so fucked. Because it knows how to make a thumbnail that's as good as the other thumbnails. We're so fucked.
I saw an article the other day that analysts speculate, and this is like a pretty wide, guess, but, based on a bunch of bases, that they reckon that modern day YouTube in 2026, 20% is now AI content.
I mean,
which does not surprise me, but it does upset me.
I find myself using YouTube less and less and less, and just leaving Twitch on in the background because at least I'm listening to like a friend or someone else I know.
Right.
And I think that's why streamers are getting more popular every single year, because it's the only fucking thing we have left that we're like, that's an actual, well, at least, mostly that's an actual person.
At least that you're aware of.
And it's kind of frustrating because you're like kind of watching YouTube. Maybe they're getting more views. They probably are, but you're watching the thing just kind of crumble and become decrepit in real time. So you're like, wow, a lot of people are uploading shit. And YouTube has no system in place right now to help you as a viewer get the content you want. It is just force feeding you garbage.
No, if anything, they're like double tripling down on like, make more AI content.
And they keep pushing the like AI dub videos from other countries. And it's like,
shit.
Nobody has ever clicked on one of these videos and thought, wow, this AI dub sounds so good. It's ridiculous, but it keeps pushing it. Stop recommending me this shit.
Yeah, Guardian reckons more than 20% of videos shown to new YouTube users are AI slop.
It's so bad, man. I mean, I think YouTube, if they don't figure this out soon, it's going to absolutely ruin the platform.
Oh, 100%.
It's getting bad already. And I hope to God that there's someone at the company who's ringing the alarm bells, because right now it's just, you're just watching. YouTube was, and I still believe this, was like the only S-tier social media platform. I think it used like for a good 10 years, up until maybe like, I don't know, this year.
The 2010s era?
Yeah.
2015 to 2025, it was the platform that I think I would like, I'd watch Netflix a little bit. I'd watch, Twitch a little bit, but I would spend hours on YouTube every day because I could always get bangers, like genuine bangers.
Totally.
And it's frustrating watching this happen because you're like, this sucks. And we've also put so much fucking of ourselves on this platform, and watching it just go to shit is so fucking frustrating.
Yeah, it is really tragic.
But it's okay because they'll sell more AI chips.
Yeah. What lovely future awaits
so
for this
fucking
platform.
Stupid.
Ugh.
Yep.
Anyway.
Preach.
Sorry,
Preach.
I got carried away.
All right. Who's next?
Joey?
Yeah, go ahead.